Yes, he does.
Well, he's called, and Byron in great shape to double up here, to get a much-needed double up, I might add.
Yeah, do some damage against our chip leader, Matthew. You gotta love it when your ace-king is up against ace-queen. Byron went to college, studied psychology in college, a fine soccer player. Hasn't had much luck here tonight. Let's see if this hand will bring him some. So far, so good.
Well, a king right on the flop as it's come king, 4 deuce. Well, Matt hollering chop it up, meaning he'd like to see 2 more clubs come out there, but
I
no.
want the whole thing.
A queen comes
Sorry,
off.
bro.
Meaning if another queen comes off, this would be a savagely brutal beat.
Yes, it would.
For Byron, but still a big favorite.
River card, it's a 6 of hearts. Byron's hand's gonna hold up.
So that's the boost that Byron Carverman was looking for. He's been a pro for 6 years. Had a great year already, actually won over $500,000 playing poker this year so far.
He's played 9 WPT events, his first cash.
Taking a look at the Player of the Year race early on, it's Legends of Poker champ Will the Thrill Fiala currently in the lead, but tonight's winner in Paris jumps into a tie for first as this race continues. In the meantime, let's get back to the call of the game with Mike and Vince.
Well, 4 players remain, and Matthew Waxman is still the chip leader with about 5.1. Action going to Hugo. He's going to fold his hand. Byron Carverman now with an ace-6.
And he's on the button with the ace high, gonna raise it up.
Makes it 80,000 to go. Matthew out. Frederick Magin, look at that.
And he has got 2 queens.
Beautiful hand, not gonna re-raise.
Slow playing them.
Yep, trying to trap.
Let's see how it works out for him.
Oh, maybe he's smart because he hits 3 queens on the flop just like that.
Well, it's come king, queen, jack.
He's checking again. And Byron checking behind him.
Byron trying to catch that 10 to give him a straight. Doesn't happen as the king comes off. Full house for the Frenchman.
Just queens full. He's going to check again. Let's see if Byron will bite. No. Good resistance.
Not falling any traps here so far. He's got the kind of hand you don't mind checking it down with, an ace high.
River card, irrelevant. 5 of clubs. He's still not going to bet.
Now this guy is the slow play king of the world.
Love him.
Ace. No
Now
good.
Byron says yes. The Frenchman says no good as he turns up a full house here.
So no, it's not.
Oh,
No, it's
boy.
not good.
Frederick Magin with queens full.
Well, maybe better keep that day job, Vince.
Well, he has a tight perception at the table. If you're going to check, a lot of guys aren't going to bet your hands, so it backfires for the Frenchman, even though he takes down that pot.
Well, Vince, we've had a great time all week long here in Paris, but now it's time for the viewers to get a glimpse of what happens behind the scenes on the World Poker Tour with this segment of On the Road.
Okay, I'm outside of the aviation club. No more cards for me. No more smoking inside. I've had it. What I like to do in Paris is see the sights. Today I'm going to Montmartre. It is so beautiful there. It's about a 5-mile jog. It's uphill, it's downhill. I'll be having espresso with the French people. They love me here. I'm going to put on the bandana and get out of here. Join me. All right, going by the Arc de Triomphe. Pretty good so far, huh?
People might not know it about him, you know. He's the most vain guy in the world. I think that's why we get along so good together, because I'm not the Hollywood well-built guy and the good-looking guy like Betts is, so I'm no competition for him there.
This is the Opera House. Makes you want to sing, but I won't.
Vince is my favorite. We hang out quite a lot. We have the same birthday, so guy is maintaining, isn't he?
First time that I met Vince Van Patten was on a poker cruise. Somehow I found myself against Vince doing a lap around the entire top deck of the boat in under a certain number of seconds. You want him around. That's who Vince is to me. But you don't want to gamble with him. Don't do it.
Oh my, it's fantastic. Oh, how do you beat this? It makes me want to drink that water, but you can't do that. There's a lot of pigeons in there and things like that, so.
Vince, he lives life by, how do you say it? The seat in his pants?
Hello, Lamont. All right, that's it. So that was the run. I feel absolutely exhausted, but it's fantastic. All the beautiful monuments of Paris. This is it. You can't beat this in a card game. You can't get this feeling unless you're winning a lot of money.
Oh, Vince, I got to tell you, you must think you're the Rocky of Paris or something, but you were moving a little slow up those steps.
Oh boy, I've seen glaciers move faster than me. Why didn't you tell me, anyone? But it was uphill.
Well, you might not have been moving too fast, but I'll tell you, the action here in Paris is fast and furious. 4 players left. We'll be right back with more on the World Poker Tour.
Welcome back to the Grand Prix de Paris, brought to you by ClubWPT.com. This is the second tournament in the historic 10th season of the WPT. The name and the winning hand of whoever takes down tonight's title will be added to the WPT Champions Cup. If you dream of playing in a WPT event or even just want to hone your game, check out ClubWPT.com. Ask any pro and they'll tell you the best way to improve your game is to play as much as possible. At Club WPT for only $19.95 a month, you too can become a VIP member. This means you get great VIP benefits and you can play in as many tournaments as you want. Plus, you can even win a seat into a WPT live tournament. So check it out for yourself on ClubWPT.com and never lose a dime playing poker, guaranteed. All right, it looks like the final table action is ready to start back up. So I'll hand it over to Mike and Vince to check the standings and get back to the game.
Well, current chip leader is Matt Waxman out of Florida, sitting with over $5.2 million in chips. Byron Kaverman in second place now, so the 2 Americans out in front with 4 players left.
The winner is going to take home 500,000 euros. That's approximately about 700,000 US. Huge payday here for someone in Paris. All right, Matthew first to act. He's got a king-9, going to get aggressive with it. Makes it 85,000 to go.
Now the amateur French player at the table going out, and now the young pro French player out as well.
Around to the other American, Byron, and look at this. He's got a nice ace-jack.
He just calls with it, though. Does not 3-bet with it. Wants to camouflage the strength of his hand a little bit, I guess.
Let's see if that works. Oh, he hits a jack just like that. Byron out in front with jacks, but he's going to check.
Byron's got top pair, top kicker, and checks. Matt Waxman with the gut shot straight draw, checks right behind him. Now a 9 comes off, so Byron still well out in front with the 2 jacks.
Matthew with a pair of 9s now as well.
Again, Byron checks top pair and top kicker.
I guess he figures Matthew plays so fast, but this time he slows down and he's checking. Oh, gee.
Talk about running good. It comes 9-9. He's made 3 9s to make the best hand here.
Byron just fell into this, and now he's doing the wrong thing.
Well, he was going to check raise on the flop, maybe check raise on the turn.
Sure.
Now he's going to lead out on the river, and now he's beat.
155 going into the Matt Kitty. And you get some extra chips in there if you're Matthew with your 3 of a kind.
I think you do. When it's checked on the flop,
Yep.
checked on the turn, you make running 9s to make trips.
He makes it 355 to go.
And now poor Byron. What do you do here?
You possibly give this up and just say, well played.
Or you can beat it as a bluff, essentially, but he's going to make the call.
King 9.
He's not going to like it as his opponent turns up 3 9s.
Oh, boy. And the one American Matthew lambasting his friend. That has got to hurt. This is no game for the soft.
See, Season 10 has seen the introduction of the WPT Champions Cup, a perpetual trophy that enshrines the victory of every WPT champion. And all season long, we'll celebrate those winners with a short look back called the Champions Cup moment.
Here we go to the river. Who's going to get lucky?
Perhaps the greatest battle in WPT history took place at the Grand Prix de Paris in Season 3, as Australian pro Tony G unleashed a withering psychological attack upon his opponents, the likes of which had never been seen.
I'm gonna take everything you have! Everything!
It came down to the menacing Australian and a soft-spoken Englishman named Surrender Sunar.
Bye-bye! I'm gonna rip you apart so hard.
The verbal venom continues from Tony G.
He's the devil.
And you're gonna suffer so much. Man.
Tony G's unsportsmanlike behavior had brought the Brit the rare support of the French crowd.
This guy is just gonna double me up!
As Sunar remained composed in the face of Tony G's unrelenting verbal assault, but unable to break the Englishman. Tony was the one to lose his composure, making bad call after bad call. In the end, Surrender Sunar survived the Aussie's verbal assault to claim victory in Paris and etch no more a deserving name upon the WPT Champions Cup.
What a battle we witnessed tonight here in Paris. Well, that was one of the epic battles of all time on the World Poker Tour. But Vince, as you know, pros are out here trying to make money, but money comes and goes. But having your name etched on that Champions Cup, it's there forever. That's what you dream about as a poker player.
Yeah, just going back to seeing Tony G play. Wonder if he ever got out of that insane asylum that he went to. I don't know, but he was fun to watch. 4 players here battle for this title tonight.
Well, Matt Waxman raising it here with a 10-7.
He's the chip leader. He makes it 85,000 to go.
2 Frenchmen going out.
And now Byron with a king-jack came in final table as the chip leader. He's been whittled down, and he has made the call. So 10-7 up against king-jack. Here's the first 3.
Now flop comes Jack, 6-4. Great flop for Byron. He's got top pair with a king kicker.
Always catches jacks, it seems like, and he's going to check again. He knows how aggressive Matthew is, and he's proving it here once again.
Well, Matt's going to make the continuation bet. He's got no hand and no draw, so just hoping to bet and steal it right here.
65 grand. Byron now with the check raise opportunity, but no, just going to call it.
And he does make the call. Doesn't raise with the 2 jacks.
Let's see if that backfires again. But Byron, here comes the turn card.
Well, an ace comes off. Just not the card Byron wanted to see, I can assure you. He's fearful now his opponent made aces on the turn, but it goes check, check. He's got to feel better about that. Now a deuce comes off. So since his opponent didn't bet on the turn, you don't put him on aces, so you try to get a little value bet in here with the 2 jacks and a king kicker. And that's what he's done, 125,000.
Byron used to play soccer in college, also studied psychology. And he thinks that maybe he can get a call here.
Well, even though Matt only has a 10 high, in his mind, he's put his opponent on a straight draw.
You're sweating, man. Is that a tell? Wow. Stone face.
Well, that's true. Byron is sweating a lot, but it's boiling in here.
But in the meantime, Matt Waxman actually considering calling with just a 10 high here.
This will be one of the looser calls on the WPT.
And that's what he's done.
He
He's made a hero call. And had he been right about that, the whole world would have been raving about that call. As it is, doesn't look too bright.
Information call.
Well, I give him a lot for creativity and imagination, but sometimes you're either the hero with that kind of call or you're the bum.
Would have called much faster.
Needless to say, he's the bum.
We'll be right back back with more action from the Aviation Club in France, including Tony Dunst breaking down tonight's play when we return on the World Poker Tour.
Brought to you by ClubWPT.com.
Being a Club WPT VIP is like having a backstage pass to the WPT because you get to interact with me and Matt.
That's right. You also get to play for your share more than $100,000 in cash and prizes up for grabs every month.
ClubWPT.com. Never lose a dime playing poker, guaranteed.
We are back at the Grand Prix de Paris, where any mistake from here on out could literally cost a fortune. To break down tonight's highs and lows is Tony Dunst in this edition of The Raw Deal.
Sometimes you watch a hand of poker where, at first glance, the action seemingly doesn't make sense. I think many viewers may have witnessed the hand involving Matt Waxman calling down Byron Kaverman with 10 high and question what he was thinking paying off with such an abysmal holding. But there's more method to the madness than may be readily apparent. Let's break it down. Matt raises the cutoff with 10-7 suited, and Byron defends in the big. Not surprisingly, Matt elects to bet the fairly uncoordinated flop. Byron calls, and we see an offsuit ace land on the turn. Some may be surprised that Matt doesn't continue his bluff on the ostensibly good card to do so, but his decision to check tells us that he likely believes that firing the ace as a bluff card feels too obvious. He might also just want to give up on a hand that's turned zero equity. An irrelevant deuce lands on the river, and Byron elects to value bet a little over 1/3 pot. And here's where it gets a little different. Most would assume that the river is a straightforward decision, either fold the whiffed hand or turn it into a bluff with a raise, if you like to live dangerously. But Matt sees potential in the unconsidered third option, and here's why.
You're sweating, man. Is that a tell?
Number one, Matt seems to detect what he feels may be a physical tell in Byron's sweating. It's difficult to grasp how reliable something like this is with each person, but I do find it strange that Matt gives it such consideration, seeing as everyone at the final table can attest that it's about 8 million degrees in the Aviation Club today. I don't know the French word for air conditioning, but neither do the French. Number two, Matt likely believes Byron's value betting range isn't that wide. He knows Byron will call the flop with any pair, but the portion of that range that will value bet the river is likely just stronger jacks, a 4 or a 6 that made 2 pair with the ace, or sets. And sets are hard to make. Number three, there are in fact a number of hands Byron could be turning into a bluff here, and Matt is aware that Byron is skillful enough to take advantage of his currently tight image and get creative. It's not crazy to think that Byron may have called on the flop with something like 7-5, 8-7, or 9-8 suited with a backdoor flush draw, aware that on such a dry board, Matt will often have to shut down on the turn, allowing Byron to frequently pick up the pot with a river bet if his draws miss. So, do I agree with the call? No, but I think it's more sensible than it seems on face level. And besides, if Matt's call ends up being right, he gets to experience that rare, perfect sensation that is the owned him moment. A moment where you've blatantly crushed your opponent's soul, then glance around the table with the steely glare of Clint Eastwood right before he kills a bunch of people. I like to think all we poker players live for that moment.
Hey, Mitch, I'll tell you the truth. I've seen Stu Unger, the legendary poker player, make those kind of calls, but he won the pot when he did it.
But Matthew is still the chip leader with 5.2 million in euros. The blinds are going up to 25 and 50,000. Action going to Byron Kaverman from Ohio. Byron out. And now Matthew with a pair of nines. He's the chip leader. He's got all the momentum. And he's getting out the race, and chips makes it 105,000 to go. But Frederick behind it with ace king says all in.
Now quickly goes Tappy.
Hugo out.
Call.
And Matt quickly makes the call. We got the classic race situation. The under pair versus the 2 overcards. And for the Frenchman to stay alive, he's going to need some help here.
Yes. Man works in computers, has a real job. Frederick Magin.
As you can see, all the French here at the Aviation Club holding their breath for their partner. An ace right in the door.
Oh, it certainly is. Ace 10, 8, all diamonds.
This gives the American a flush draw. So he needs a 9 or a diamond to win this pot.
It is never easy. The Frenchman has to, well, he's gotten lucky there. 10 on the turn.
The board pairs 10. So again, Matt Waxman looking for a diamond or a 9 to eliminate this Frenchman. The guy holding his breath. He doesn't want to go back to work yet, and he doesn't have to as the 5 comes off. But what a story it is with this guy, Vince. He got in this tournament by winning a satellite. He's gone to work every day since this tournament started at 7 in the morning. Then he's come in and played poker, and here he is with 4 players left and a shot to win this thing.
Plays his poker down here at the Aviation Club. 4 players remain. He has doubled up, and he is back in action.
Vince, we've got 2 Americans and 2 French fighting it out for this title in Paris. The American, however, Matt Waxman, has the chip lead. The question is, Vince, can he be the first American to ever take a WPT title in Paris?
Well, I think he's the best player at the table right now. I think he can, but voila, the battle for Bastille is not over. Can the American defeat the Frenchman? We will see. Back to you, Kimberly.
Thank you, gentlemen. And please join us next time from the Aviation Club in France for WPT's continuing coverage. Until then, for Mike Sexton, Vince Van Patten, Tony Dunst, the Royal Flush Girls, and the entire WPT team, I'm Kimberly Lansing saying thanks for watching. Good night.
The World Poker Tour is brought to you by ClubWPT.com. Never lose a dime playing poker. Guaranteed.
Tonight at the exclusive Aviation Club in France, the WPT Champions Cup and over €500,000 will go to the survivor of a high-stakes poker tournament played in one of the greatest cities in the world. And it's only on the WPT.
Well, the crowd all standing.
He is circling the drain.
They are going bare knuckles in the center of the ring.
He would love to knock this loudmouth out.
After 5 exciting days of world-class poker here in Paris, the Grand Prix de Paris is poised to name the second WPT champ of Season 10. Here to give us their professional insight on how this final table has played out so far are poker's best commentators, Mike Sexton and Vince Van Patten. Bonsoir, gentlemen.
Well, bonsoir, Kimberly. We've got 2 Americans, 2 Frenchmen fighting it out for this title. But right now, Matt Waxman with the big chip lead.
We've never had an American win this WPT title in France, although several Americans have come close, including Eric Lindgren, Alan Cunningham, and Alan Gehring. Vince, could it happen tonight?
I think he can, Mike. Kimberly, this guy is tough. He mixes up his game. He's very powerful.
As you remember, Matthew doubled through Nico Sundell earlier when he flopped the flush just like that. Now he's up against the other American, Byron Kaverman, and 2 tough players, the Frenchmen. They are the reign of terror. So can the American do it? We will see. Back to you, Kimberly.
All right, sounds like you have a lot of faith in American Matthew Waxman tonight. Thanks, guys. €500,000, an entry into the season-ending WPT World Championship in Las Vegas, and the prestigious WPT Champions Cup all on the line tonight. Looks like the game is ready to resume, so let's get back over to the final table.
Okay, Matthew Waxman from Florida, 4.7 million in euros, is the chip leader. The Andes are going to start at 5,000. Blinds at 25 and 50 as we resume play. Action's on Matthew.
Everything's gone well so far at this final table for Matt Waxman.
And this time he looks down at a pair of deuces, caps his cards. Likes to say he's the most honest man in poker. But of course, at the table, he likes to bluff a lot, so that contradicts that. As the Frenchman goes out, Frederic. As does Hugo, the other Frenchman.
Back to the other American, Byron Kaverman. He looks down at 2 threes. Has his opponents dominated here.
Gotta love it. He is on a short stack relatively.
All in.
And he's gonna push all in.
Well, this is what a lot of guys like to do with small pairs, including me. You're on the short stack, just move in with them.
Byron Kaverman studied psychology in college. Helps a lot at the poker table.
You might have been able to induce this one if you wanted to.
He'd love to get the action, but no, Matthew escapes. Lays his hand down.
Quite a lay down by Matt, and a good all-in bet by Byron to take down that pot.
Byron Kaverman from Fort Jennings, Ohio.
You know, he played soccer in college, Vince.
Yep.
I happened to be at the Aviation Club de France in 1998 on the exact day that France won the World Cup, when we celebrated right outside on the Champs-Élysées. And let me tell you, if one of these 2 French guys win here tonight, we could have another celebration like that one when they won the World Cup.
You guys can
Back to play, Matthew out. Now Frederic Margin, who holds down a steady job here in France. in computers, taking a shot at this title here tonight. He's got ace-7 here, Mike.
And in this tournament, by winning a satellite, they're going to have a great payday no matter where he finishes.
He's made it 250,000 to go, and that's enough for Hugo to go. And now Byron, the only man to beat. Byron's got a queen-9 offsuit.
Well, Byron's in 4th place right now.
All in.
And he is going all in with the queen-9 offsuit.
He is playing fast with just a queen-9.
I call.
Wow, the Frenchman has made the call.
What an excellent call
Now,
this is.
Vince, for another 800,000, I couldn't have made this call with an ace-7 offsuit. I just fearful that it'd be dominated. I just wouldn't like it, but he made the call. He's got the best hand right now. The question is, will it stand up?
Ooh la la, as they say in France. How did he know? And here's a flop for Byron. He has outflopped the Frenchman just like that.
Well, it's come king, queen, 10. What that means is, for the Frenchman to take the lead, he's got to catch an ace. He can shut him out, at least with a tie, if a jack comes off where he'll make a straight.
Mike, these guys got about the same amount of chips. Here we go with the turn card.
And a jack comes off. He has done it. King, queen, jack, 10. He cannot lose the pot. An ace has to come up to give him the tie.
I think this is going to
An
be it.
amazing call by the Frenchman here has paid off in dividends for him. 7 of hearts on the river. So that's going to do it. Byron Kaverman, who came to this final table as the chip leader, out in 4th place.
That's right. Tough beat right there. And he's out. He's going to pick up 155,000 euros for his effort. He's an American that has to say good night. We are down to 3 players. Let's go see what he has to say.
It was a rough day. I just got some bad spots, I guess. Felt like I played well. I don't know, a little unlucky in the end, I guess. Made a good call and got there. Matt's a friend, and I hope he takes it down.
With American Byron Kaverman out in 4th place, that leaves 1 American and 2 Frenchmen left. There's plenty more in store from the Aviation Club in France, including 5 questions with a WPT champion from our very first season.
Plus, a new segment for Season 10, On the Road, that gives you behind-the-scenes access to the World Poker Tour.
And tonight's action gets the raw deal with the one and only Tony Dunst. There's much more from Paris, so stay tuned.
It was fun.
Okay, monsieur.
Welcome back to the World Poker Tour, brought to you by ClubWPT.com. Poker players come from around the world to play at the exclusive Aviation Club in France, but there's another great place to play poker, and you don't need your passport to get there. I'm talking, of course, about ClubWPT.com. ClubWPT.com gives players from all over the opportunity to sharpen their poker skills for only $19.95 a month. You can become a VIP member and get great VIP benefits, and you can play in as many tournaments as you want. Plus, maybe win your share of over $100,000 in cash and prizes every month, including seats into WPT tournaments. Check it out for yourself at ClubWPT.com and never lose a dime playing poker, guaranteed. All right, it looks like the final table action is ready to start back up, so I'll hand it over to Mike and Vince to check the standings and get back to the game.
Well, thanks, Kimberly. We have 1 American and 2 Frenchmen fighting it out for this coveted title, and right now the American, Matt Waxman, is the chip leader. The question is, Vince, can he be the first American to ever take a WPT title in Paris?
Well, I think he's the best player at the table right now. I think he can. Let's go to the felt and find out. Action on Frédéric Margen. He works in computers, not a professional poker player. Could have fooled us here tonight. He's going to make a call with Queen, 9 of hearts.
We just eliminated the other American from this final 4. And now it's 2 Frenchmen, 1 American left.
Nice.
Hugo, the local, won't play his Queen Deuce.
It's right
And
there.
now Matthew Waxman
You like it?
looks down at a pair of jacks.
He's a limper, that one.
Tries to distract his opponent by saying something casual.
I, on the other hand, punish the limper. So you're getting punished.
I didn't understand the word, but I call.
I didn't understand a word he said. Yeah, we've heard that one before. He's going to make the call with Queen 9.
He says he doesn't understand much English, but he understands the raise. He makes the call.
So we got the American with jacks up against the Frenchman with queen 9.
Okay.
And it's come ace, ace, 6. Now Matt still out in front with aces and jacks.
Considers himself the most honest man in poker. And he's going to put out 125,000 honest chips right there.
I fun.
Frederick's not hitting anything, and he has to go away. Matthew said he learned poker when he was in high school at study hall. He wasn't studying, he was playing poker, Mike. Look what we've done.
Oh, boy.
Watch the World Poker Tour. When he was
Look
growing
what
up.
the kids are learning in school today.
Just amazing.
How to check raise.
All right, back to the table. Hugo, the local here in Paris. This is his club. The Aviation Club has a queen, 8 of diamonds. And will make a raise to 110. Matthew with an ace deuce of clubs. He's a fine player. 26 years old. He's playing in 11 WPT events so far. It's his 3rd WPT cash. That is pretty impressive.
He's going to make the call.
And Frederic, with just a queen 4,
It's a fold.
will extract himself from this hand.
Yep, he's going to get out of the way, let him fight it out. 2 tough young pros, one from America, one from France. And here comes the flop. Well, it's queen 9 deuce. The Frenchman's flop, top pair, the American bottom pair.
Matthew checks his deuces. Hugo with queens. He raised before the flop. It looks like just a continuation bet of 80,000.
His flop top pair. That's 80,000, and now Matt Waxman will be a little careful here.
The winner of this event is going to take home 500,000 euros. It's about 700,000 U.S. currency. And Matthew wants that, and he's going to make the call.
So the Frenchman well out in front right now. Top pair versus bottom pair. But out front, no longer as an ace comes off on the turn. Matt Waxman has made aces and deuces, top and bottom pair.
Linking so casually.
And he's going to check it. This is going to be for the check raise. Hugo checks behind him, and he's got great poker savvy in my mind. He seems to know when he gets outdrawn and beat on the turn, and he puts on the brakes.
7 of spades on the river, helping neither player. Will Matthew try to make a little value bet here? No, he checks.
Well, it's the 3rd spade that came out there.
You got there on the turn?
Got there on the turn.
Exactly right, Hugo.
Hugo hit the nail right on the head. Matt Waxman takes the pot with aces up. But how about Hugo calling it right out? You got there in the turn before he even turned up his cards.
But the Floridian just loving the way the evening is going. He's in Paris, very close to celebration, and that 500,000 euros that goes with it.
Well, there you see the Player of the Year standings right now. Will Fiala from New York out in front with 1,200. Tonight's winner will tie him for that lead of Player of the Year standings.
Butter up your croissant because we have lots of poker to be played here at the Aviation Club. Action on Frederic, the amateur poker player, so-called, has an ace jack.
Got started playing poker by watching the World Poker Tour. And here he is fighting it out for a WPT title.
He certainly is. He makes it 150 to go. Hugo going away. And now Matthew, our American, has a pair of 5s.
At the speed limit.
You're getting a little aggressive there, huh? 3-handed, open up a little bit.
My English is not good enough to discuss with you. But
You start playing a lot of hands.
You know he speaks fluent English, no doubt.
You played more hands in the last orbit than you played all tournament.
Yeah, it's crazy. I was.
You played them well.
I was sleeping.
You were sleeping?
Yeah, I was sleeping. I was tired.
You shouldn't sleep. There's a lot of money on the line.
Yeah, but
I beat you in my own way.
Well, the table talk continues, and here comes the flop. The flop comes Queen 10-8, 2 diamonds. So Frederic has a 2-way straight draw.
Matthew quickly checking wisely. Didn't like that flop. And Frederic looks like he's coming in with the continuation bet. Yes, he is. 275.
King or a 9 would give him a straight. Maybe hoping he'll just take it right here, and that's the case as Matt lays down the 2 5s.
Going to chase the American back to Florida just like that.
Frederick Majin, 36-year-old. He's an amateur player, lives right here in Paris. He went to work at 7 a.m. every day this past week during this tournament before he came in the aviation club to play in it. Incredible how a guy will put that many hours in all week long. He said he was dead tired coming to this final table, yet here he is with 3 players left fighting it out for this title. What a story it would be. The guy got in this tournament by winning a satellite. Wow.
On Thursday, I was working at 7 o'clock. I didn't sleep well on a Wednesday night. And on Friday, it was a special day because my boss is got another job, so he make a celebration for this. I was dead during the celebration. I was dead at the tournament. When it will be finished, I think I will be with my family and after I go to sleep.
I gotta tell you something, Mike. I get exhausted just looking at this man.
Well, you got to admire a guy. What an employee to have.
Yeah.
The guy makes the final table. He goes to work every single day of the tournament, including the day of the final table.
And he's playing great poker here with a shot at a title. It's on him. This time he only has an 8-7, and he's raising to 180 with a junk hand. Hugo has gone out, and Matt Waxman now with a 7-4. Hasn't folded yet.
You would think it'd just be a simple laydown here. He's got the chip lead. Why jeopardize chips with this hand?
Young American with a Bob's Big Boy style haircut. Is he going to get fancy here?
Incredible, Vince. He is getting out raising chips here. Could he possibly be 3-betting this guy with a 7-4 offsuit? Yes, wow. He has done it.
Well, he is on to Frederick. Maybe he read something in him because Frederick's not that strong, of course, with an 8-7.
I call.
For Matt to do it. Now, look at this. Frederick's going to call. He's going to get stubborn.
Well, we've seen when guys re-raise him. He calls an all-in bet for nearly $1 million with an 8-7 offsuit. Here he's calling a re-raise with an 8-7 offsuit. He's going to see a flop before he abandons chip.
Nothing, raising nothing, and here we go.
And it's come ace, queen, queen. Obviously no help to either player.
Neither player likes that type of flop. And you have zilch, zip, and pip.
Well, I think Matt Waxman is going to demonstrate to our viewers how powerful betting is.
Oh, boy.
Because there you go.
He's going to play old school Mississippi style. Push it in poker with a big bet of 355.
And the Frenchman going to lay it down. So power poker at its finest there by Matt Waxman.
Matt Waxman's got to be very proud of himself there. Just reading his band perfectly. He steps ever so close to taking home the 500,000 euros tonight and being the first American to ever win this title in Paris.
Well, Vance, we've had a great time all week long here in Paris. But now it's time for the viewers to get a glimpse of what happens behind the scenes on the World Poker Tour with this segment of On the Road.
Vince and I invited the girls out to a yacht, which I constantly made cracks about being my yacht, though it's not.
We got the boat.
To the World Poker Tour! Vince showed up.
You know my brother?
Fashionably late with his posse.
What's happening? What's happening?
Thanks, man.
Vince and his brother are pretty funny together.
Yeah, we're having a good time, right? Good time. Great time.
They both have the same hair. I think they go to the same stylist.
This is the first time you met the Royal Flush Girls. Royal Flush Girls. Love them, right?
Love
You're
them.
a single man, so.
Single?
And the same tanning salon.
Oh, we're moving. Yay! Yeah, this is great. Yeah! Ship ahoy.
We set sail for a 2-hour evening cruise.
everything, seeing Paris from a yacht was just amazing. I've never been to Paris, and then everyone was taking a ton of photos.
All right, ready?
Someone take it.
Just to experience it all on a yacht and see the Eiffel Tower so close, I think that was the best part.
At the end of the night, Vince and I just kind of hung out on the back of the boat and talked through the game.
What do you think of the beautiful women in France? You having a good time?
You know, I'll say the women of France are really stylish and elegant.
Yeah.
Above everything else, you know, you see beautiful women in almost every country you go to, but in France in particular, you see stylish women.
You are a single man. I'm not. I'm in love with my wife.
Yep.
So I cannot, work out here like you do.
Right. Work out, interesting turn of phrase for it.
Horrible laugh at me and something.
I'm not laughing at you.
You are here.
I am laughing with your joke.
Well, Vince, looks like you all had a great time out there in the little yacht. Only one thing was missing. Me. Why wasn't I invited on the yacht trip with all the Royal Flush girls?
I don't know. Three's a crowd, Mike. Three's a crowd.
All right, stay with us for more exciting action from Paris. We'll be right back after this. Season 10 of the World Poker Tour is brought to you by ClubWPT.com, where VIP members can win their share of $100,000 in cash and prizes every month. ClubWPT.com. Never lose a dime playing poker, guaranteed.
Welcome back to the World Poker Tour, brought to you by ClubWPT.com.
The club is located in the Champs-Élysées, the most beautiful avenue in the world, just in the heart of Paris. We have seen the rise of poker through the years, thanks to the World Poker Tour shows, and he has been very helpful to the poker in France.
It's a great club. It's too great, in fact.
When the WPT event takes place in the Aviation Club de France, you have all kinds of tables open all the time. You play tournament during the day, but the players, when they have finished the tournament, they play cash game, and we have cash games running until 10 a.m. or 12 a.m. They don't stop during 24 or 48 hours. Cool. I like it. The best place to play poker in France and Europe is definitely the Aviation Club de France.
Well, players do love it here because they do have plenty of games and a lot of action here, no doubt about it.
It is an experience unlike any other. A touch of class here in Paris as we continue three-handed poker. Matthew Waxman, the Floridian, is our chip leader. Let's go to the felt. Action's on Hugo Lemaire, the young Frenchman.
He's a tough young French pro, and look at this, going to raise it with a 9-deuce offsuit.
Matthew's going to take a look at a junk 4-3, releases that hand. And Frederick Margin, the computer man, also folds his hand.
And folks, it just shows you winning at poker is not about catching the card. It's about showing heart and firing at the pots. The young Frenchman doing it there.
Yeah, 24 years old, only his 4th WPT event ever. And now the action is going to Matthew.
Yeah, looks down at the 6-3 of diamonds. He's on the button, in position, got the chip lead.
Blinds at 30 and 60,000 with a $10,000 ante. And he is aggressive, boy.
The Frenchman can raise with a 9-deuce offsuit. He can raise with a 6-3.
Makes it 120 to go. Frederick out. And Hugo not going to play.
Well, Matt Waxman executing his game plan perfectly. When I talked to him before the final table started, very confident. He said, I am going to be the first American to win a WPT title in Paris. And I'm going to do it today. So he was sure of himself, even when he didn't have that many chips. And now that he's got them, you can only imagine what he's thinking.
It's been a goal of mine to make a World Poker Tour final table for quite some time. I guess the next goal would be winning one. I'm feeling great. I got a good stack, so I'm actually feeling pretty good about it. And we'll see. I'm really pumped. I think I have a really good feel for how everyone's playing. I call. But no way in a million years is he betting kings or aces on that flop. And I'm not taking any prisoners. It's going to take a sick one to get me out of this one.
Now, Vince, remember when you were young and confident, could predict that you were going to win things?
No.
Well,
I like
so
the
far
1 in
so
10
good for
spot.
Matt Waxman, no doubt about it. There you see two of the toughest pros in the world, Jason Mercier and Phil Collins, watching their buddy Matt Waxman go to work on these Frenchmen.
All right, action's going to Frederic Margin, Mr. Computer Man from France.
Remember, folks, he's an amateur businessman, a guy that won a satellite to get into this tournament.
With a Queen 5, won't play that. On to Hugo. With a Jack 9, he's called it.
Uh-oh, we got a limper. I don't know how I feel about that.
Now, limping means he just calls the size of the big blind, doesn't raise it.
Matthew with a Jack 10 of hearts.
And he might want to raise, but on the other hand, he didn't want to get re-raised out of this pot, so he's just going to check and take a free flop, and I'd be doing the same thing.
Yeah, and here we go with a flop.
Yeah, flop 6-3-3, no help to either player.
And Hugo is going to check. Matthew, of course, hit nothing there.
Now look at this. See, he watches enough of the World Poker Tour on television to understand if they're a check and I'm a betting.
This is the talent of these kind of guys. When nothing materializes, to still be able to bet, to read your opponents. This is what great poker is all about, and he's going to chase Hugo away, and the American's going to win this pot.
And Vance, you just have to suspect that Matt's got to put it in his mind. It's going to take a while to win this thing. I'm just going to continue to grind them out and just play small ball. Unless I get a big hand against them, and in the end, small ball is going to get these guys. Takes a while to win that way, but that's what you got to do.
At the age of 25, Finland's Juha Helppi was just starting his poker journey back in season 1 when he captured the Aruba Poker Classic, becoming the youngest winner and the first amateur champion on the World Poker Tour. Now in season 10, I had the chance to sit down with Juha here at the Aviation Club to see how that victory so long ago changed his life. What's your strongest or best memory from the Aruba tournament?
Well, the Aruba tournament was the tournament of my life because it kind of started all this. I think the best moment was when Phil Gordon poured the water on his head. He was so tilted, he was playing a bit bad, also getting unlucky.
Feels a little bit better.
I think Phil Gordon underestimated me. I think he thought he could run over me.
This guy's an amateur?
He took it pretty well. He was laughing and he was really nice to me, and that was a good memory.
Are you surprised at the growth of poker, how much you can win now?
Yeah, I was amazed. Back then, $50,000 felt a lot of money. The way poker has been growing has really been amazing, and I think it will be huge forever. I don't think that's going anywhere.
Why are the Finnish so good at poker?
Finns are really calm. They never tilt. Many of them don't have a big ego, but some Finns are known to drink and play, but they're very aggressive. They're smart. I think it's quite amazing how many Finnish players are in the top level comparing to the number of Finnish players in total. So.
Yeah. You seem pretty mild-mannered, so I'm wondering, what is it about extreme poker that caught your attention?
I was sponsored when we played in underwater poker. I won the very first underwater tournament. It was played 30 feet below. We had really heavy chips, and we played like half an hour, and we had oxygen for like 40 minutes. It felt quite amazing because I'd never did diving before that.
You nearly won a second title right here at the Aviation Club in season 4. Describe the feeling of getting so close but coming short.
I usually take it pretty badly, ending up second, especially when I was 2-1 chip leader against Roland.
Roland can't believe his luck. Spike in the 5-2 pair.
All in.
I was really disappointed after the tournament. It was so close of getting the second title. Felt bad, but now it feels much nicer, of course, but at that moment I was gutted.
Juha predicted a Scandinavian would make this final table in Paris, and he was right, as his fellow Finn Mikko Sundell and Swedish player Martin Jacobson both made the final 6. We'll be right back with more action from the Aviation Club in France, including Tony Dunst breaking down tonight's play when we return on the World Poker Tour, brought to you by ClubWPT.com, right after this. Welcome back to the Grand Prix de Paris, brought to you by ClubWPT.com. It is now time to check in with Tony Dunst and see what he has to say in this edition of The Raw Deal.
While poker is no doubt a solo player game, modern final tables are increasingly becoming a group effort. For many years in poker's history, friends could be seated in the audience, but only decipher so much of the action from their vantage point. However, all the relevant details and information during final tables are often now available to many members of the audience, and it allows them to add valuable insight to the person they're supporting. Matt Waxman could hardly ask for a better panel with elite pro Jason Mercier and November 9er Phil Collins in his corner. Naturally, it seems like a pretty major advantage to have access to a collection of top-tier players to bounce thoughts off between hands.
Oh my God, I had 5 and 6 of clubs. That's
7 to 1.
Oh yeah. I thought he had 7 outs.
You got it in pretty good.
I forgot about my own cards.
Previous final tablists have often made use of their gallery when they need cooler heads to prevail.
I'm all in for like 2.8.
Back in Season 6, Nick Schulman found himself facing a major coin flip immediately after running a failed bluff. Waiting to console him on the rail was WPT champion Eugene Paxton.
Well, I'm trying to like outplay him. No, I like my river bet, by the way.
No, river bet's fine.
Who talked Nick down and back into a state of mind conducive to playing sharp poker. However, there is certainly some risk in applying the insights of those who have far less information than you do. Even highly devoted members of your entourage won't have near the focus and intensity of anyone on the table. And without being the one making the decisions, it's difficult to detect the flow of it all. Sometimes they may inadvertently provide inaccurate or detrimental advice that can be pretty harmful if you don't have a discerning filter. Last season, Phil Hellmuth was attempting to help his friend Mike Matisow at the final table with info about what he believed was the tell Alan Sternberg was giving off.
He was looking down and left. Whenever he was strong, he was looking down and left.
Yeah, but moments later, Matisow was eliminated when he curiously decided to shove 12 blinds over Alan's button raise with 9-2 offsuit.
I'm all in.
Based on what he thought he saw. Then again, I know it's a little unfair to pull out some obscure clip of Phil making a misread just to take the easy shot. Because hey, if it weren't for tells I hallucinated, I'd win them all too.
Well, there you see 2 of the best players in the world rooting Matt Waxman on, Jason Mercier and Phil Collins. But all I know is this. Forget the rail birds. They're on the rail. You're playing at the final table.
What a night for Matthew Waxman. Well out in front with 5.3. He's from Florida.